So just another 45 minutes, that's all. And then you've got the rest of the 23 hours or so to do whatever else you need to do. Hare Krishna. So today we're reading from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 22, contents of the Gita summarized. One thing that I would really suggest also is just to kind of, for a short period of time, just put your phone on vibration or silence. So then therefore we can have a very conducive discussion without distraction. They say that in today's day and age we're living in the age of mass distractions. Not destructions, distractions. So let's try and absorb our consciousness in Harikatha. So I'm going to read Sanskrit, and then we'll get into the transliteration and translation. This is how actually Srila Prabhupada wrote his commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita as it is. How many of you have the Bhagavad Gita as it is? Okay, some of you. So when you go to India, how many of you have been to India before? You'll find that there's many different types of Gitas. And what it is that, it's like the conversation between Lord Chaitanya and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. There's so many Gitas, and sometimes what these Gitas, when you read, what it does, it just distracts you from Krishna. It doesn't really bring you closer to Krishna. Because what is one of the defects of a human being is that we make mistakes. We're prone to illusion. So we can be illusioned and we can make mistakes. So in India, you'll find many different gurus that have written their own version of the Gita. And these tends to kind of take people further away from Krishna rather than closer to Krishna. But Srila Prabhupada is so amazing after thorough research and reading through so many different acharyas' commentaries. He made his own commentary called the Bhagavad Gita as it is. Because there is no confusion, there is no sort of distraction, there is no deviation, as Krishna has spoken. So, and then he put it in a very specific way. So first you have the Sanskrit. How many of you can read Sanskrit? Oh, fantastic. Okay, we've got one or two people who can read Sanskrit. So he's putting us the Sanskrit, then the transliteration, and then the translation. So we'll go through them. Are you guys comfortable here? Okay, because I might be turning my head that way a lot more, so sorry about that. So I'll just start the Sanskrit and then we'll get into it. Vasamshi Jernani Yata Vihaya Navani Grinati Naroparani Tata Sharirani Vihaya Jinani Anyani Samyati Navani Dehi. You can clearly see I'm not the Sanskrit scholar, but what to do? We'll get to transliteration. So what I want you to do is repeat after me. Vashamsi, garments. Jernani, old and worn out. Yata, just as. Vihaya, given up. A little bit more enthusiastically. Navani, new garments. Grinati, does accept. Nara, a man. Aparani, others. Tata, in the same way. Sharirani, bodies. Vihaya, given up. Jirnani, old and useless. Anyani, different. Samyati, verily accepts. Navani, new sets. Dehi, the embodied. Translation. As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. Repeat after me. As a person puts on a new garments, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Change of body by the atomic individual soul is an accepted fact. Even in the modern scientists who do not believe in the existence of the soul, but at the same time cannot explain the source of energy from the heart, have to accept the continuous changes of body, which appears from childhood to boyhood and from boyhood to youth, and again from youth to old age. From old age, the change is transferred to another body. This has already been explained in the previous verse 2:13. Transference of the atomic individual soul to another body is made possible by the grace of the supersoul. The supersoul fulfills the desires of the atomic soul as one friend fulfills the desire of another. The Vedas, like the Mundaka Upanishad as well as the Svetashvatara Upanishad, compare the souls and the supersouls to two friendly birds sitting on the same tree. One of the birds, the individual atomic soul, is eating the fruits of the tree, and the other bird, Krishna, is simply watching his friend. Of these two birds, although they are the same in quality, one is captivated by the fruits of the material tree, while the other is simply witnessing the activities of his friend. Krishna is the witnessing bird, and Arjuna is the eating bird. Although they are friends, one is still the master, and the other is the servant. Forgetfulness of this relationship by the atomic soul is the cause of one's changing his position from one tree to another. Or from one body to another, the jiva soul is struggling very hard on the tree of the material body. But as soon as he agrees to accept other bird as the supreme spiritual master, as Arjuna agreed to do voluntarily, surrender unto Krishna for instruction, the subordinate bird immediately becomes free from all lamentation. Both the Mundaka Upanishad and Svetashvatara Upanishad confirms this. Although the two birds are in the same tree, the eating bird is fully engrossed with anxiety and moroseness as the enjoyer of the fruit of the tree. But if in some way or other he turns his face to his friend, who is the Lord and knows his glories, at once the suffering bird becomes free from all anxieties. Arjuna has now turned his face towards his eternal friend, Krishna, and is understanding the Bhagavad Gita from him. And thus, hearing from Krishna, he can understand the supreme glories of the Lord and be free from lamentation. Arjuna is advised herewith by the Lord not to lament for the bodily change of his old grandfather and his teacher. He should rather be happy to kill their bodies in the righteous fight so that they may be cleansed at once of all reactions from various bodily activities. One who lays down his life on the sacrificial altar or in the proper battlefield is at once cleansed of bodily reaction and promoted to a higher status of life. So there was no cause for Arjuna's lamentation. Hare Krishna. So just to repeat the verse again. As a person puts on a new garment, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. So in half an hour we'll be having Gaur Arti also. So it's a very interesting verse. It's a very interesting verse, and the reason why I say this is because often I get the opportunity, often we go out in what is called Sankirtan. What does the word Sankirtan mean? Sankirtan means the congregation chanting of the holy name. So in this day and age, in this Yuga Dharma, it is said that actually every single one of us, we have a very short attention span. And not only that, we have a very short lives to live. And not only that, we have short remembrance. So therefore, what it is that in this day and age, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if you just look at the Panchatattva, he actually came down in order to give us one the most beautiful process in which we can establish our relationship with Krishna. And what is that process? That process is the chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And it is actually mentioned how due to our relation, due to our interaction with this material world, like every single one of us, we have some degree of responsibilities and duties in this society that we're living in. Unfortunately, none of us can get away from responsibilities and duties. We all have to some degree or another. But what it is that when this duty and responsibility is centered around us, rather than centered around Krishna, then what happens is that our heart becomes filled with dust. Our vision becomes very blurry in what the sankalpa, what the goal, what the destination is. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so wonderful because he came in the mood of a devotee. He came in the mood of one of us. And in coming so, what he has done is he's actually shown us and he's given us a process, a tangible process. You know, when we think about Krishna and all of his mystical abilities, his wonderful, powerful abilities, what it is that we cannot relate to that. Can any of us lift Govardhan Hill? No. But when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's come and he has shown us what it means to be a devotee, what it means to be spiritual, that is very relatable, that is very practical, that is very tangible. It is something that we can all apply in our life, whether we're grihastas, brahmacharis, or whichever ashram that we're living in. And by doing so, when we chant the holy name of the Lord, what does it do? It cleanses. It cleanses our heart. It cleanses our consciousness. It's no longer about me. It's no longer about just what I want. Now what happens is that we then develop a relationship with Krishna. And the most scariest thing is that Srila Prabhupada once, he turned around to his disciple and he said, the issue with you all, the challenge, the problem with you all is that you're not scared of Maya enough. Sometimes when we're practicing Krishna consciousness, it's like one foot in spirituality, another foot in temptation. We try and be Krishna conscious, we try and be spiritual, but on the other hand, there are so many temptations in our lives of things that we want to do but we shouldn't do. And we struggle. We struggle with desires. We struggle with temptations. We struggle with not gratifying our senses. But also in the Bhagavad Gita, it says, what is nectar in the beginning is poisonous in the end. So therefore, the holy name has actually given us the most beautiful thing. And what is that beautiful thing? It's allowed us to understand who we are. If we are sincere, if we chant thoughtfully and attentively. It's not just that externally we're doing all these practice like coming to the temple, reading the Bhagavad Gita, chanting the holy name, but internally we're indulging in sense gratification. Internally we're full of anxiety, full of stress, full of worry. What am I going to do? You know, what will my free will, what will my living will look like? What should I do this? What should I? All that is important, but more important than all that is Krishna consciousness. Because when we put Krishna at the center of our life, Krishna puts us at the center of his. So often when I'm on the street, what I ask people is, who are you? I ask this question, who are you? So if I was to ask any of you, who are you? What would you say to me? Who are you? Your name. Okay, that's a good start. So you'd say that you're your name. And what is your name? Alka. So you'd say, I am Alka. Okay. What about you? Who are you? Raman. Okay. Anyone else? What about you, Prabhu? Who are you? Actually, I'm not going to pick you because you know the answer. Who are you? So do you see the pattern here? I asked 3 of you who you are, and you've all given me a name. Is that who you are? Is the name who you are, or is there something more to that than the name? So this is the issue in our society, in our civilization. When we go to school, we're taught everything that we think we should be, but nothing of who we really are. You're not Alka. That's just the name that's been given to you. And you can very easily change that name. You see, you're not your career, because you can very easily change your career. Sometimes I may ask someone, who are you? And they say, I'm a policeman, or I'm a doctor. But that's just a career. That's not who you are. But these are the things we're attached to. We're attached to labels. And these labels are what's obstructing our relationship with Krishna. These labels are what's preventing us from actually understanding who we are. And because we fail to understand who we are, because we think we're Alka, we think we're a policeman, we think we're a doctor, we think we're a man, we think we're a woman, all these things that we think we are, what it is that then it's becoming practically difficult to actually establish that relationship with Krishna and to understand that we're actually a spirit soul. And because that is becoming so difficult, so then what happens is we settle for the lower nature tendencies. What is the lower nature tendencies? Envy, selfishness, greed, frustration, anger, attachment, power. Because we identify ourselves with our name, our career, our position, our status. So therefore, what it is that we're trying to accommodate for all these things. And in the process, what then happens is we're neglecting who we really are. And Srila Prabhupada in the purport, he uses the example of the bird and the two birds. One is watching and the other one is trying to chew on the fruit. But actually there's another beautiful example that Prabhupada also relays, which is that it's like the soul is in the body. The soul is in the body. And then what we're doing is, like, once I was on a bus, and then as I was, like, the bus was driving, I saw this store, £400 to do your hair. £400 to get a hair done. £500 to buy the new Versace or Gucci or whatever. So what it is that all we're simply doing is we're trying to accommodate for the body. But what happens to the body? The body, it is said, every 7 years, cell dies and a new cell regenerates. After some while, the body decays. Just yesterday, we had one cow that passed away. So the body is inevitable. Death is inevitable. It's constantly decaying, but yet we're still trying to find ways to live longer. And so this is the problem. It's because we identify ourselves with our name, our position, our status, our families, our social position, everything. But we're more than that. So Srila Prabhupada, in his bhajan called Vrindavan Bhajan, there's a beautiful poem he wrote there. And so I'm going to share that with you right now. It's a very beautiful... How many of you like poetries? You like poetries? Yes. I really love poetries. So Prabhupada says, like the froth on the seawater mixes again in the sea, Maya samsara, play, is just like that. No one is mother or father or personal relative. Just like the sea foam, they remain but a short time. Just as the froth on the seawater mixes again in the sea, the body made of 5 elements meets with its destruction. How many bodies does the embodied soul take in this way? His relatives are all simply related to this temporal body. Do you get this? So this is really powerful. Is that every single one of us, the reason why we find ourselves frustrated, disappointed, angry, all these kind of stuff is because first and foremost, we're relating to each other as the body. This is my son. This is my daughter. This is my husband. This is my wife. But did you actually know that there's many, many, many different lives of different relatives that you've had, and this is just one life out of billions of lives that we've had? And so if we get attached to this life and who we know of this life, then that means there's many more lives to come. But another beautiful way of actually dissecting this is that you're a spirit soul and I'm a spirit soul, and we are in each other's life to actually inspire each other in spiritual life. We are in each other's life to help each other, to actually accommodate for each other's spiritual need. That is what you call like-mindedness. This is the real beauty of how to nourish a relationship. When a relationship is dependent on one's bodily needs, when a relationship is dependent on one's material need, when a relationship is dependent on one's emotional need, then what happens is that relationship will always feel incomplete. Yes, there might be some sparks in the beginning of a relationship, some excitement, some happiness, some joy, but how long will that last? Because the real need is the need of the spirit. And what is that need? That need is to love and be loved. And our responsibility and duty is to help one another to actually experience that true love from Krishna. If we think that our love is enough to fulfill someone, then we're actually paving a pathway to hell. If we think that us alone is enough to accommodate for one's real needs, then we're actually setting ourselves for disappointment. No, that need can only come from Krishna, and we are the caretakers. We're there to help and support those that are in our lives, to help them to re-establish their relationship with Krishna. Because that's what ultimately everyone is looking for. There's a beautiful quote that says, in the beginning you were originally fine, but then that fineness disappeared, and then you became defined. And this is the reality. Shishi Radha Gokulananda ki, Shishi Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Shishi Goinatai ki. So in the beginning, you were fine. But then somewhere along the journey, what happened is you've lost that fineness. and then you became defined. You became defined by the modes of material nature. You became defined by the situation and circumstance in life. You became defined by so many things around you, and now it feels like you've lost your relationship with Krishna. But that relationship with Krishna can never be lost. That relationship with Krishna is always there the moment you ask the most important question, which is, who am I? And Krishna will empower that knowledge within you. Krishna will help you, because nobody wants you back home, back to Godhead as badly as Krishna wants you. So Krishna has given you all the hints. He's given you all the little clues in how to return to Him. But the thing is, we've lost our fineness, and so therefore we're defined. And then the next part of the poem, but everyone is your relative, brother. On the spiritual platform, this relationship is not tinged with the smell of Maya. The Supreme Lord is the soul of everyone. In relation to Him, everyone in the universe is the same. All your relatives, brother, all the billions of jivas, when seen in relation to Krishna, they are all in harmony. Forgetting Krishna, the jiva desires for sense gratification, and as a result, he is firmly grasped by Maya. That's beautiful. Sometimes what it is that we're very selective in our relationships. We're like, I only care about my family. I only care about my wife. I only care about my husband. I only care about my kids. But it's a bit more universal than that. It's a bit more dynamic than that. Because in one sense, we're all related. Because we're all spirit souls. And this is what spiritual life is. Spiritual life is actually opening that compassion, opening that heart for more than just people that you're directly related to. Because that biological relationship changes life after life. But the relationship that you have with all the jivas, the living entities, that's always there. So this is what it means. Srila Prabhupada actually gave his biological family to accept and embrace the whole world as a family. And this is what it is. We are in ISKCON, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. What does that mean? That means in this movement, everybody's a brother to you, everybody's a sister to you, everybody's an uncle to you, everybody's an aunt to you. We're all related. And we all need to help each other to get out of this world. That is what it means to be selfless. To be selfless means to think more than just about your direct people that you're related to. It means to think about the wider community, the wider society. Because if the wider society is going through a struggle, but all you seem to care about is the people that you're directly related to, there'll always be trouble in society. So change actually begins from expanding our heart to more than just who we are directly related to. Change happens when we open our heart a little bit more broader to those that we may not be related to, and doing something to try and help them. And in that way, when Krishna sees that, then Krishna also helps us. So this is the beauty. We're all connected. We're all related. Yes, we're individual and we never lose that individuality, but also we have a very special relationship with each other. That is the beauty. So this is a beautiful verse. This is what this verse is trying to put into perspective, that we're not this body, but we are inside the body. Like I remember a few years ago, one of my mentor, he's Janikanath Prabhu, diagnosed with cancer, was taken to the hospital. So what do we say? He's taken to the hospital. But then unfortunately he passed away. And when his body was brought back here, did we say, no, he's coming back? No, the body is being brought back. So do you see, we try and deny the existence of soul. We try and deny the existence of God. What happens when someone, an atheist, you may sometimes find them in an airplane. And as soon as the airplane is crashing, what do they say? Oh God, please save me. Sometimes it's like, oh God, what's happening? Like these very subtle language. But it's not just coincidental. Because what it is that the soul acknowledges and admits the existence of God. Our mind may not, because we're influenced under the modes of material nature, but the soul knows. The soul knows what the mind may not be able to always conceive. The soul knows what the mind tries to reject and deny, because that is our true inheritance. How can you deny a father that brought you into this world? Can you say that, because let's say a child may be born into this world and may not have any knowledge or any information of his mother and father. Can that child say that, I'm not from any mother or father? No. Because the child was born from a mother or father. Just because the child didn't see the mother or father, it doesn't mean that the mother and father doesn't exist. So similarly, just because we can't conceive of Krishna with our mundane eyes, we can't say that Krishna doesn't exist. Once, I don't know if it was Huey Newton or, not Huey Newton, one of these great scientists. So what happened was he created a very beautiful model of the universe. And then when his friends came and saw this model, the friend asked, who created this model of the world? And this personality said, nobody. It just created by itself. It manifested. But then the friends were like, we're not stupid. We're not idiots. Someone must have created. Who did it create? And then so this personality said that it is so wondrous and amazing how you're able to not believe that this universe, just this little model came into existence by itself. Yet you're able to deny the existence of God who created the entire universe. It's relatively the same. A small model, a big model. The small model was created by someone, so then naturally the bigger model must be also created by someone. It is not that it has come into existence on its own. So, and then again, in this particular chapter is so amazing because what Arjun basically says when he's instructed to fight is that I don't want to kill my relatives. I don't want to kill my relatives, but how can you kill that which is eternal? This is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. The beauty of Krishna consciousness, if we could only grasp it, is if we strengthen our faith in Krishna through chanting, through reading, through hearing. When we strengthen our faith, what is the outcome? The outcome is confidence and relief. We become fearless. We die before we die and we conquer death. We become fearless in the sense that what it is that we actually learn to embrace Krishna in every challenge, especially death. Death then becomes a friend and not an enemy. Because for those that don't know Krishna or don't have faith in Krishna, death represents taking everything away from them. You're taking away my children. You're taking away my family. You're taking away my career. You're taking away everything. But for the devotee that knows of Krishna and that has established a relationship with Krishna, death is not the end. Death is not that I'm actually taking something away from you. Death is that I'm giving you the most important thing that you've forgotten to take with you. That is death. It represents that Krishna is ready to embrace you on the other side and to help you and to guide you to come closer to Him. That is what death represents for the devotees, for those that have faith in Krishna. Not that you're taking anything away, but actually you're gaining the most important thing. So then Krishna says to Arjuna in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 11, 8, this is wrong. This is something. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor the dead. So sometimes we have the tradition here in the Hare Krishna movement, when someone passes away, yes, we mourn, but we also celebrate. Because that soul is continuing his or her journey back home, back to Godhead. Actually, the real selfishness sometimes is if we just continue mourning and that's it. We keep lamenting, oh, I wish this could have person. No, because this is the material world. This is a place of misery. This is a place of suffering. This is a place in which the soul has so much unique abilities, but it's encapsulated within this prison called the body. But like I said, Gauranga Mahaprabhu has given us the most beautiful process in how we can actually, while we are in this body, make a good use of a bad bargain. Utilize our physical body that we're residing within it to engage in devotional service, whether that is chanting, reading, hearing, associating, and in that way realize our natural position and help our children also realize their natural position. It is said in Shastra that one shouldn't be a father, one shouldn't be a parent if they cannot help to liberate their children. So if we don't have the ability nor the willingness to help our children understand who Krishna is and what that relationship with Krishna it is that they have, then it is said in Shastra, then we don't have the qualification for what it takes to be a father or mother. Because we may be able to take care of our child's mind but the mind deteriorates. We may be able to take care of our child's body, but the body deteriorates. But the soul has a long, long, long journey ahead. So how are we helping that soul find his way or her way back to Godhead? That is the real question. So, it's actually very amazing. It's really, really amazing, actually. Martin Luther King, he once said something very beautiful. He said, "Our scientific power has outrun our spiritual power. We have guided missiles and misguided men." So it's like, all these scientific research just to deny the existence of God, just to try and enjoy a godless civilization where we can do whatever we want to do, be whatever we want to be, have whatever we want to have, and in the process destroy our entire spiritual potency to be able to establish our relationship with the Supreme, the seed-giving Father, Krishna. So therefore we have guided missiles, so many missiles. Now, not just missiles that bomb cities, but missiles that bombs our consciousness. What are those missiles? Computer. So many of us, we all have technologies in our living room, in our houses. And it's not that we use the technology, but the technology uses us. The moment that we go on it, we have no self-control. We stroll, Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, this, that, whatever. And so the missiles are constantly being bombed on our consciousness, destroying our ability to be able to see what matters the most in life, which is Krishna consciousness. So we must take shield, we must take protection. What happens when there's a war going on? What do? We go in the trench. We protect ourselves. And what is that protection? What is that shield? That shield is the holy name. That shield is Bhagavatam. That shield is the Bhagavad Gita. It doesn't take an awful lot of time. We spend so much time sleeping, so much time eating, so much time bathing. What about time for Krishna? What about time for reading? What about time for chanting? Roughly it takes around 7 minutes to maybe 10 minutes to just chant one round. What about time for that? What about even half an hour for reading? So you see, we're involved in so much activities, but where is Krishna placed in our life? Because ultimately, in our moment of death, we're not going to think about whether we bathed or not. In our time of death, we're not going to think about what movie we're missing or watching, or what team is winning, or none of that kind of stuff. What we're going to think about is like, okay, where's the journey next? So our life is a preparation for death. That is what our life is a preparation for. And most people don't understand that. Most people, they try and find whatever distractions that they can find to sort of prolong or procrastinate the inevitable. Yeah, Prabhuji, it's okay. I've got 40 more years, 50 more years, max 70 good more years. I'll think about Krishna consciousness later on. Let me just get down to business. Let me just do what I need to do. Let me look after my kids. Let them get married first. Let my career prosper, and then later on, it's like we're trying to do business with Krishna. We're trying to get into some sort of like transaction with Krishna. But no, death isn't going to wait for you 70 more years before you're ready to inquire, who am I? It can happen at any time, in any way. So we must actually grab the opportunity while we're here to make a good use of our life. And these words that I say it so many times, but it doesn't sink. It doesn't sink that one day we're going to die. What is going to be the last thing on our consciousness? Because whatever is the last thing on your consciousness, that's what you're going to reap in your next life. So this is the most important thing. We're not the mind. We're not the intelligence. We're none of this. We're a spirit soul. That's what it says in the Vedas, all souls. And we're not just a spirit soul. We're the servants. We're the servants of Krishna. We're the servant of the servant of the servant. That's who we are. That's our position. That's the real nature of the soul. And The reason why I say this is because sometimes people try and deny that I am a servant. But you know what they say? They say, look to one's action, not just one's word. Every single one of us, whether we like to choose it, to believe it or not, we're serving. We're serving our boss. We're serving our children. We're serving the economy. We're serving our society. We're serving our pension. Every single one of us, we're serving one way or another. Now the question is, who do you want to serve? Who do you want to give the rest of your life to? You want to give it to Krishna, or you want to give it to this material world? The thing is that you give it to this material world, there is not an awful lot in store for you. But you give it to Krishna and He's prepared to give you everything. He's prepared, He's waiting, His arms are open. He's just waiting for you to run to Him. So this life is one of a life of many millions of lives that you've had. And now you have an opportunity, a very good opportunity in your hand to make something good use of this life. Prabhupada just looked and he said, just give this one life to Krishna. Just one life. And this one life isn't like you've got 100 years to live. It's half a life. Another 50 more years and none of us are going to be here. Maybe another 40 years for many of us. Maybe another 20 years. We're sitting here so comfortably. But at any moment, everything can be taken away from us. And in the end, we're not going to have any of this. The only thing we're going to have is Krishna. So George Harrison said, we're all looking for the same thing, which is love. Some of us just don't know. But where does that love come from? It comes from Krishna. When you're under that shelter of love, then what it is that your fear, your anxiety, your stress, your worries, everything Krishna takes away. It is so amazing that actually when Haridas Thakur was being whipped in the marketplace, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually took all those whips for him. So Krishna is prepared to take your pain away from you. Krishna is prepared to take everything. The only thing He's asking you is just give me your devotion. Just give me yourself to me. And I'm prepared to help you in every way. I'm prepared to guide you to me. But the question is, are you ready to let go of everything that you're holding on to and carrying on? Because as long as you're holding on to things of this world, you won't be able to grab Krishna's hand. The choice is yours. And we've got many, many teachers around us. We've got the spiritual master, we've got teachers, and not just teachers in the sense of spiritual master. We can learn. Krishna is everywhere. Peace is not the absence of chaos, but it's seeing everything in relation to Krishna. So Krishna is in everywhere. We can learn. But mainly from the Guru. Guru has given us, he's written commentaries on the Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita. So many different texts. He's given us so much. We just need to read. With that being said, thank you so much. If anyone may have questions, then please feel free. It's amazing, you know. Krishna has given us the Bhagavad Gita. Later on, Mahaprabhu has given us the holy name. And Srila Prabhupada has given us association. So we have everything. Now it's really down to your desire. Your willingness to just surrender. With that being said, if you have any question, please feel free to ask. Or any reflection. If not question, then reflection. Anything that may have stood out for you. You look like there's something you want to share. Anything, don't worry, don't be shy. We're all one big family here. We're all one big family. You should feel comfortable and confident that we're all here as bhakti yogi practitioners. He lost his mum. Do you feel like this class has helped? Do you feel like this class has helped to understand that, you know, your mother's just on that journey back to Godhead, that journey back to Krishna? And by you being here, by practicing Krishna consciousness, by chanting, if you are chanting, by reading, if you are reading, all these little devotional acts, you're also helping your mother make a success of her continuous journey. Do you chant? Chant. Do you read? Good. So you keep that up. You're paving a way. Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Sure, feel free.
So I think I will take some 5 minutes, but this is myself related. He always very
Maybe we can just have a mic for you. We've got 5 minutes, so you'll be the last person to share. And for everyone else, if there's something you want to ask or share and you just feel afraid or scared, I'm just around, so you can approach me and ask me. Hare Krishna. No, it's working because it's for also the viewers online. So people are watching online.
Yeah, I think I'm audible. So I like, kids are asking questions all the time, like why it is like this, why it is like this, and all. So he was asking a question about like God, like I told him of different times, like Satya Yuga and Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga. So once he asked me like, God was there in all these yugas except Kali Yuga. Why God is not there in Kali Yuga? Is there an incarnation of God in Kali Yuga? So I took a lot of time to, should not, like I was just thinking. So I think something has sparked in my mind, which not, I can say like it's my thought, it's God has given me a thought. So I see everywhere, like even with my colleagues, in myself itself, when I see somebody is doing something, and it may be wrong. So what I do is like, I take as a reference, I say like, okay, even they are doing wrong, I'll also do wrong. So this is something we are doing in Kali Yuga. So this again related to the question he was asking, like why God is not here in Kali Yuga, but he was there in all other yugas. So I just compared like when we are going to the schools, like we have a school year, like starting from the beginning, where we start from chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, like this, we have several chapters. Then we have, as we near to the exams, we have like preparatory exams, and we have some practice exams, and at the end we have the final exam. So the final exam time, we have no teachers. So all the time of your practice, chapter 1 to chapter 3 of whatever the chapters you go, we have the teachers. In the similar way, in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, we had the teachers. The God was here as a teacher and he was teaching. And this is what is the right way. And like I think if you have remembered, Satya Yuga also God was there who they thought like, what is the strength of Satya? How the Satya was helping him. And in Treta Yuga, Rama was there, Dwapar Yuga, Krishna was there. So Krishna came in Dwapar Yuga and he gave the final practice, that is Bhagavad Gita. So whatever was there from Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, in Dwapar Yuga he put that in the Bhagavad Gita, Mahabhagavata, where in this time also we have to refer, so that this is our time of examination. So this is the time of examination where we are writing our exam, and when you're writing your exam, don't compare to other person what is writing, because that may not be right. That may be wrong, because he also don't know, right? Or we don't know whether he has studied properly, whether he has prepared properly. So we always take an example of, okay, they are doing, so it should be fine. So what we have to see is like always, we have to see to the past. The chapters that was taken in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, the chapters that was taken before are the right thing for Kali Yuga, that we have to look back and see what they have done, take the learning and go ahead. So because when he was asking questions, I was thinking like, why he's not there? So he's
Thank you
not
so
there because
much.
it's examination time. We are writing exams. So let all look back and learn whatever is there. And our souls know, as you were saying, like, oh, when plane crash is happening, we say, oh God, our souls are there from all the yugas. So we should know that, connect to the soul, connect to all the past yugas, and know and learn and do your exam to the best. Best of luck.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. Just one thing to add to that is that 500 years ago, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, and when he came, he gave us the process, and that process is the chanting of the holy name, which is more powerful than anything. And in that process of chanting of the holy name, it purifies our heart, our consciousness, and we're able to develop our relationship with Krishna. So Gauranga Mahaprabhu is very, very merciful. Such a simple and easy process, but a process in which we can attain the heart of Krishna. But thank you so much. Did you want to share something? We've got like literally 1 minute. No? Okay. So with that being said, thank you all so much for your attention. Much really appreciated. And I hope you were able to take something away from this. Antara Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Pramanande. Hare Krishna.
You want to sing? You want to sing?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay, come here. I was singing yesterday.
Oh, okay. Shri Radha Govinda ki jai, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai, Shri Gauranga ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Okay, now we will be doing the Sandhya Arati. We will be singing those prayers to Radha Gokulananda Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman. The words are in your right hand side on the top. You can repeat after me, yeah? Jayo Jayo Gora Chande Arati ko shobha. Jayo Jayo Gora Chande Kiva Jaya Jaya Gora Chande Arati Kashova Jaya Jaya Gora Chande Jana bhi tata bane Jagaman lobha Jana bhi tata bane Jagaman lobha Dakhine nitai chan Bame gadadhara Dakhine nitai chan Dakhine nitai chan Bame gadadhara Dakhe Advaita Srini Vasa Chhatradhara Nikate Advaita Srini Vasa Chhatradhara Vasi Achi Gurachan Ratna Shringasane Vase Achi Gurachan Vase Achi Gaurachan Ratna Shringasane Vase Ache Gaurachan Arati Karena Brahma Adi Devagane Arati Karena Narahari Adi Kari Chamaraduraya Narahari Adi Kari Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu Ghosadigaya Sanjaya Mukunda Shankha baje ghanta baje baje karatala Shankha baje ghanta baje baje karatala Shankha baje ghanta baje baje karatala Shankha baje ghanta baje Madhura Midanga baje Paramarsala Madhura Midanga baje Madhura Midanga baje Paramarsala Madhura Midanga baje Shankha baje ghanta baje madhur 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 baje Shankha Shankha baje ghanta baje madhur 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 baje Shankha Gaurangera rati majhe madhur 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 baje Gaurangera rati majhe madhur 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 baje madhur 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 baje Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Gaura Hari Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bahu Koti Chandrajini Vadana Ujjwala Bahu Koti Chandrajini Gala Deshe Banamala Kare Jhalamala Gala Deshe Shiva Sukanarada Preme Gada Gada Shiva Shiva Sukanarada Preme Gada Gada Shiva Bhakti Vinoda Dekhe Gaurara Sampada Bhakti Vinoda Bhakti Vinoda Dekhe Gaurara Sampada Bhakti Vinoda Jaya Jaya Gaurani Arati Shobha Jaya Jaya Gaurani Jana Bhitata Bani Jagamana Loga Gaurangirarati Svabha Jagajana Manalobha Gaurangirarati Svabha Gaurangirarati Svabha Jagajana Manalobha Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namah Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Kristaya Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyatya Desatarine Namaste Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga Gaura Hare Nitai Gauranga Gaura Hare Jaya Sachinandana Jaya Sachinandana Jaya Sachinandana Gaura Hare Jaya Sachinandana Gaura Hare Govinda bolo Hari Gopal bolo Govinda bolo Hari Gopal bolo Radha Ramana Hari Govinda bolo Radha Ramana Hari Govinda bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Jaya Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Radhe Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Sita Ram Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Okay. Hare Krishna. If you have a space in front of you, then bow down before the Lord. And if you don't, then just join your hands. And after I say Vrindavan Dham ki, you say? Yeah. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivarchakacharya Ashtottara Srimad Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivarchakacharya Ashtottara Srimad Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसती गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन की मथुरापुरी वृंदावन धाम की नवदीप मंडल मायापुर धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा माई जमुना माई की भक्ति देवी श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री राधा गोकुलानंद जी की सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की निताय गौर सुंदर की पंचतत्व नृसिंहदेव भगवान की कलियुग धर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे और कृष्ण संबल डिवोटीज हरे कृष्णा और कृष्ण संबल डिवोटीज हरे कृष्णा और कृष्ण संबल डिवोटीज हरे कृष्णा और कृष्ण श्री गुरु एंड गौरांग और कृष्ण शील प्रभुपाद की जय. Now we will have 5 more minutes of nursing aarti. can you please sit down, everyone, in the temple hall? Afterwards, we'll be serving prasadam in the reception area, yeah?
Can you take this? I want to sit down. Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlada Klada Dhayine. Prahlada Klada Dhayine. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Shilatankana kalaye. Hiton Risimcha Paraton Risimcha. Yato Yato Yamitaton Risimcha. Ahiran Risimcha Vridayen Risimcha. Narasimhamadim Sharanam Prapade. Tava Karakamalavare Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Shringa. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. Narasimha Bhagavana ki, Prahlada Maharaja ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. So everyone, we will be serving some prasadam, a little bit of Mahaprasad, right outside in the reception area. Please take some prasadam home, yeah? Hare Krishna. The next darshan will be at 9 p.m. So if you want to stay, then please, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Usually it is closed, yeah, and we don't have any someone to play except for this.
Mm.